So I had an interesting experience this morning. I wrote a Dharma talk a couple of days ago that I was going to give today about actually something that came to mind on Friday. And so I was pretty excited. I woke up this morning and thought, oh, I'm going to have a more relaxed morning because I have my Dharma talk together. And then I couldn't give that one because I had to give one that was more closer to what was on my mind and heart today. So I had to write one really quickly. But it's been a lot going on for me. And a lot of what we do in reflective meditation is really speak from what's going on in our lives and tie it in with hopefully how that relates or how the Dharma informs it. So that is what I'm going to do. And we've been talking about the five remembrances and old age, sickness, and death. And Linda pulled out the last of the five, and I'm going to speak to that one today as well, which is I will be separated and parted from all that is dear and beloved to me. And oh my goodness, that is exactly what happened this week. I was separated from the Pine Street Sangha building, and I realized in this just how dear and beloved it has been to me. And I joke around because it's not the truth, but I felt very bipolar this week. Fortunately, I know it's only temporary because most times in my life I do have more equanimity. But this week, I can't believe how many emotional highs and lows I've traversed. I've cried more than I think I've cried for the whole past year or maybe the past decade. And through the lens of psychology, I've been grieving. But the most extreme moods I felt were on Sunday, the day of the closing event, and Monday, the day of the move. And so I'm just going to read from my journal entries about these that I wrote from these 2 days. This wasn't from my meditation journal. This was from my just journal. So yesterday was a closing event at Pine Street Sangha. It was so fulfilling, so much acknowledgement and gratitude, and I soaked it in. I got a couple of cards, and usually I'm not really into cards, but this time they meant a lot to me because I really can't remember the words people said in the closing circle. Now I wish we'd done a video. Now I wish we'd had a recording. But no, what I have is the good feeling and this card. And some words from this card are, I found a Sangha that is caring, engaged, engaging, ethical, and aligned with my values. A little bit was said in between. You have guided the creation of a cohesive and nurturing community of practitioners who sit and work together in myriad forms moving forward. Something is preserved from that circle. So things fall apart, but I have a little preservation here. Then there was another card, and this one was from one of the three women who will be taking over the Sangha. And in this card, she said, quote, this was meant to be, along with acknowledging the amazing space and it's really we have created. I also mean this was meant to be. I know that, and it's making this grief and this transition so much easier. I don't know, it's probably about a year and a half ago, I got a clear message that it was time to let the building go. And thankfully, in my life now, I get clear messages. I used to be a lot more ambivalent. And it turns out I realized it was like several other real estates I've done. There was a failed sale. I'm not selling it mostly, I'm giving it away, but just that's the terminology, failed sale. By this, I was trying to give it to another nonprofit and it didn't work out. And we'd been negotiating for about 6 months. And then they had this really big deficit in their budget and they couldn't do it. And that opened the door for this new group of called Radiance to step in. And it really feels just right for them to be the one to take over and take the healing forward. And that is what I heard in the circle yesterday. There had been so much transformation there through meditation and the learning of Dharma through the community that we created. And radiance is going to create another kind of transformation. Curiously, they'll be doing ketamine journeys in the room that we did meditation, another form of altered consciousness, another way to transform. So then I write the following day. It's after the move. The end of the Pine Street Sangha building at 8125 Southeast Pine, torn apart and distributed in different people's homes. It came together in 2012 and it came apart in 2024. Things fall apart. It was so visual. People, at my suggestion, took item after item off the walls, off the shelves, and took them home. Pine Street Sangha now is distributed, but it felt so depressing after the move. The move was over. The movers left. I washed the towels. I washed the dishes so the new people would have clean towels and clean dishes. And I sat there and I was so, so sad. And then I wish I had photos of the room. Why didn't people take a video? It was so sacred. And now it just looks like a dirty house. They'll put it back together. It'll be something new. It will be reborn. But for now, it's death. It's depressing. And I don't want that image of the dirty house in my mind. It'll dissipate. And I think it already is. And many people remind me, and I know this, of course, that all of the reflective meditation events I've been involved in will continue. We create a kind of sacred space online, and there'll be homes of meditators who are going to host meditation events for the Portland community. And that will be wonderful. I look forward to that. Somebody from one of the groups said, Moline, who's our assistant director, can I come to your house and sit with you that day? So that'll be lovely. And yet the sacred place of the Pine Street Sangha building is gone. It will be preserved in our collective memory, but now it seems to be, at least for me, a time of grief. So thank you for listening to my experience of this. And we'll do some of that meditation at our sacred online location. So as I look around, it seems like you've all been with us before. So